My gosh, like what in the world was that? That was unbelievable. I am still hurting, and I know a lot of Chelsea fans are still hurting. You'd be lying to yourself if you say that wasn't embarrassing or if that did not hurt your feelings. But then again, we move. With that, I say welcome again into another Blue Morning Show. I hope you're all doing well. Again, we're hurting, but there's nothing we can do. We have to move on. But more importantly, we have to talk about it. So let's get into it. Yes, people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Again, I am really hurting. I nearly lost my voice screaming at my TV. But what can we do? We can't change anything from our own end. But the truth is, it was embarrassing. And most people saw it coming. We knew it was going to be a difficult game, but we didn't expect to lose at home 4 goals to 2. And that's like how many consecutive losses at the home at the stretch. That's embarrassing. But then again, we have to talk about it. The question remains, what really happened? And plus, talking about that, we will also talk about the developments regarding the prospective buyers of Chelsea, new owners of Chelsea Football Club, what has happened to each of the remaining 3 groups. We're hearing some stories. Some will see it as disturbing. To me, I don't think it matters. After all, they are consortiums and usually designed to be made up of so many investors. But if I don't know if too many investors makes any difference, I sincerely do not know. So I'll start by taking a look at the comments in the chat. This is True Blue saying, Todd Bowley at Stamford Bridge last night. That said, I expect Burton and Cole would have been there too. I cannot fail to have been impressed. Did Tuchel blame the pitch? Yes, he did. I've seen that myself. He did. And that begs the question, should we really be concerned about Thomas Tuchel? I don't know. I can't say that yet. We'll talk about the situation. Boy says Lewis Hamilton and Serena Williams placed 10 million bids with Sir Martin Broughton. I don't even think that will pay Lukaku wages. I'm confused. I'm not sure what that comment is, but hopefully I'll get to understand it. It's a bit confusing to me. And then this is I'm sure Moore says Chelsea defense so bad tonight. Again, that is something you could argue we've seen more often wherever we have an issue in the midfield, and it's starting to look not only when N'Golo Kante is not at his best, also whenever Jorginho isn't on the pitch, even though he's not the quickest, I think at least he reads the game very well and is often at the right place. Most cases, is at the right place, to at least, be an issue, be an obstacle to the opposition attackers. But that didn't happen yesterday, so we'll see. We'll talk about it in details today. And AC needs a drop in what was what was doing, sir. Again, your thoughts on Chalobah not getting a look into the team. Chalobah's case is one I just do not understand why he isn't playing. He's come back from injury. He's made 2 errors, I think, in 2 consecutive games. Probably Tuchel saw that and didn't want to take a risk. But then I think he's better than we have because he's got pace. And also he can put in some tackles. So though at his age, he's susceptible to those kind of rash decisions that he's made in those games. But I'm not sure why he isn't playing. I think the issue goes beyond the defense. There's quite a lot that went wrong yesterday. the whole thing, the midfield, I couldn't do anything, even though Partey didn't play. The Arsenal midfield, you could argue, operated with impunity. That to me is a huge issue. We were not able to stop them. It just seems as if N'Golo Kante's issue isn't, I don't think it's fitness. I don't think it's because he doesn't have the leg anymore. It just seems as if, again, that's me, the way I see it. He seems a bit confused, not really into that aspect of him breaking up plays and being at the right place at the right mind to save us, especially like the goal, well-placed goal by Rose Smith. N'Golo Kante is that kind. He's usually in that kind of position to make sure nobody gets a free pass and have a go at post, but that happened. So I'm not sure what to say about that. I pick up aptly named Blue Money. Blue Money to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I know we're all heartbroken again for so many reasons, but the loss doesn't help. Morning Chelsea fans, yes, starting to look like a Tomori situation with Chalobah. It is a possibility. Managers they don't want to risk too much, and again, believe me, I was concerned those errors that Chalobah made in those two games after returning from injury. But that's by the way. Other than that, he was brilliant in terms of defending, and the way he plays. I think he still comes back into the team because we don't have too many options. Again, another thing I want to say we learned yesterday is that you could just call it a bloated squad. We don't really have a squad, a good squad depth that you could say if you look at it to say we have a depth that whoever comes in does a good job. That's especially true in the defensive area and also the midfield. We lack a lot there. Says Bolly was watching yesterday in the stadium. An embarrassment. Yeah, again, you could admit I lack words. He says, big up Kachila. I'm very angry from yesterday. I am still pissed. Like you can see how I sound. I nearly lost my voice because I was screaming at the TV. Good morning. Last night really showed TT how weak the actual squad is. I mean, you could see it that way because, again, he has every right to make some changes to rest our players so that we be ready to play subsequent games and not have players that are all tired. Chelsea must buy a centre-back, central players, and central players not the era anymore. Yeah, tactical issues in defense should be clearing those situations into now Z at home instead of keeping ball in play. Confusion FC drop Mendy. Kepa has to start. I don't know. I'm surprised somebody else is joining that argument. I think Mendy is looked shaky of late, not even a bit shaky, quite shaky of late. And his averaging, except for the last game, the game before this one, he's averaging at least one mistake per game. If it's not giving the ball away to the opponent, it's just booting the ball out of the pitch. I just don't know why. Chelsea must buy a centre-back and a central player. That's maybe the need. Let's be serious, Kachila. We didn't take Arsenal seriously. Tuchel picked up players we all thought can handle Arsenal. That may be the case. I'm not Thomas Tuchel. I wasn't there with him when he picked up the team. Jorginho's, Saul Barkley, Malang Sarr, Christensen, Lukaku out. It's not that simple. That's the issue. If it was that simple, a lot of players would have been out of the window and would have quite a lot of new players at the club right now. So I'm just going to quickly breeze through the chat and then come back. Chelsea must overhaul it. An overhaul isn't easy. Andreas Christensen making mistakes, yet he's in the starting 11. He has a lot of mistakes in him, and it hasn't. Even when I thought it has started happening, that is the mistakes has stopped happening. Unfortunately for me, it is still there. He's made quite a few recently, and shamefully so. And if you're watching with that, please, I ask you to please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share the video if you can, and more importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way. Now, some stuff, again, this will be in two segments. I think first, let's start talking about this, what you're looking at on the screen here, which is one of the reasons why I say the home losses is concerned. And usually it is very difficult to turn it around when it gets this bad. And this is a tweet from Chelsea Youth. It says points by home league game on the Roman Abramovich era. Carlo Ancelotti's 55 points, 55 points. For Mourinho, that is his first stint at Chelsea, 2.53. For Conte, 2.32. For Sarri, it is a 2.21. For Mourinho, his second stint at Chelsea, 2.14. For Ranieri, it is 2.11. And for Lampard, it is 1.82. For Tuchel, it is 1.76. So surprisingly, in this aspect, Lampard even has done better than Thomas Tuchel has done, and that is really, really concerning. I think why is that? It's not something I have a straight answer for at this point. But it just seems as if we play too much of a risky game, or a high line, if you want to say it that way, under Thomas Tuchel. Let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know why you think Thomas Tuchel is in the last place in terms of points per home game. It is concerning, really. If you're in the chat, let me know what you think. And with that, I will quickly again breeze through the chat, because this is supposed to be an interactive show. And hopefully somebody will find the time to join me on the panel to talk to you. But I'm going to add the link to the panel in the chat in case anybody there wants to join. But really, I am concerned of this record. It is surprising that even Frank Lampard has done better than Thomas Tuchel in that aspect. Link to the chat. There you go. We have link to the chat, and I'm going to pin it to the very top of the chat window so you can see it if you're looking for it. So now this one says Chelsea must overhaul. Okay, I've read that statement. Says Mendy bad with feet. I think I've started saying that quite a long time ago, and he takes too much risk to put himself in a bad position. Then he finds it very difficult to deal with the situation. And I don't know what else to say about Mendy. So it doesn't look like I have an agenda against him. I think we took that game yesterday as a friendly, as if we had Kovacevic, Rudiger, Silva, Havertz. And then the list of the issues goes on. I mean, you can't not deny overall it was a bad game. I am pissed off with Christensen. I don't want him to ever start another match for us. He should be the last resort. I think that should be the case. I don't know why Thomas Tuchel says he's still going to trust him, even though he's on the verge of leaving the club. Again, he is for quite some time. We all know that he has mistakes in him, but I think it's gotten worse since. I think his performance has gotten worse since his proposed move to Barcelona. If you want to phrase it that way, we know who needs to stay in the summer and who needs to go. You could argue that, but the change is not going to be that drastic. It's something you do gradually, but at least we should start from the defensive area. If you rely on the defenders of the midfield players next season, it's going to be a lot of issues. Who would you buy Coachella in the summer for defense? A Chelsea perspective, I think that's something that needs to be considered carefully. There's a kid from the academy who they've talked about. Thiago Silva is also not getting any younger. Rudiger needs a serious competition. We know he hasn't put a foot wrong for a while, but then again, he needs competition. I'm all for us having at least two starters in every position. That way, when player A isn't playing, player B comes in and does the job. But at this point at Chelsea Football Club, that is not the case. We still have starters. We have bias, at least. We have backups. At least that's the case in the defensive area and in the midfield area. Again, I think it is something that has to be done carefully so we don't waste money. And also, if you look at our midfield, I'm sorry, I think we should stop playing Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the 6th area. Correct me if that wasn't where he played, because there's a chance I was so pissed, probably wasn't sure what's going on. But I think He's not no good in that position. Alan says Mendy, Malangsa, Alonso, Ruben, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, Kante, Lukaku, Werner, Cho, Pulisic, Barkley, Kennedy, Bakayoko, Kepa all out. It can't. That's my argument. It is not that simple. You can't. The change cannot be that drastic. It has to be systematic, or else you still have the same problem. So that's where I'm concerned. Even if we feel like most of them aren't up to standard, it is something we have to trade carefully there. Jose Ancelotti had a better squad compared to Tuchel. That's the truth. We must highlight that. But then again, Tuchel, I believe, have enough people in the squad to find a better solution rather than still playing a risky game when we shouldn't. Because the truth is, this squad right now, we even talked about it before the pregame show. The biggest issue with this squad, and I think most opponents have figured that out. If you press Chelsea very well, and if you press aggressively, you're most likely to get a win, because we get started when teams are press us with high energy. When they press aggressively for 90 minutes, if they have enough energy to do that for at least around 60 minutes, I think it's usually a loss for us. If you look back at all the games we've lost, the secret has always been that opposition teams presses are very well. So that's something that needs to change. And maybe you could argue Tuchel doesn't have the players to execute his style of play. Maybe that's the case. Chelsea Fans Club says, if you rely on the defense of the midfield players next season, you won't be able to win. That is the truth. The defense, our midfields need to do better in terms of protecting our defense. It has shown, we've learned over and over again, that's where we have a serious problem in that area. You could argue the Arsenal midfield, even with the absence of Partey, operated with impunity, and that's concerning. Bigger people, please smash that like button. Yes, please, you should smash the like button. We have just 14 likes while we have around 20 people watching. We can do better than that. Let's shoot for 100 likes today. And again, if you haven't, please make sure to go check out Almighty Blues FC. Great channel, great content as usual, and always objective. True Blue says rubbish squad that won the Champions League and Club World Cup and reached the 3 finals. Yeah, exactly. So that's another argument. You could argue the squad is good, but then again, too many changes yesterday may have been the issue. Yeah, I agree with that argument. The English league is fast. It is at Chelsea. It is still good. The players are soft. They are far behind. I don't know what to say to that argument. If we had the right recruitment in the summer, again, you could argue that too. I know we have a good squad, but that squad in the summer needed some serious upgrading in some areas. But I'm not all for doing away with all the players. That's a drastic measure, and it would rather make the whole thing worse than make it better. If we had, again, I've read that, says there's a reason that we need a back three. It is to cover idiotic mistakes of each other. That makes, that makes perfect sense. I think we've tried times though when we switched to a back four, we played good, but again, the problem is there's so much wrong that it's not something you can talk about at a sitting. You have to take a few gatherings to discuss the situation at Chelsea Football Club right now. This is Just Viola saying hello to Ankit. Nice to see you here again, the queen of the house. I hate these players. I think the word hate is too strong. We should be careful how we use it. Again, I don't condone that. See, the link is in the chat if you want to join. So Bettinelli in goal. Yeah, maybe exactly. That's hilarious. Maybe Bettinelli in goal since Kepa isn't trusted that much. Again, that's where I have a problem. I don't know why. I read the other day. It was Thomas Tuchel saying yes, he has to have a sit down with Edouard Mendy, given with Kepa Arrizabalaga, given the situation. I think he himself will tell himself the truth. He hasn't treated the guy very well, which leaves us in a very dangerous position, because should anything happen to Edouard Mendy in terms of injury, we'd probably have a Kepa Arrizabalaga who's whose confidence has been crushed, who will feel not trusted, who will feel he's only important when Mendy is injured, who will feel, again, for so many reasons, he'll probably be dejected if you ask me, because he's not been treated fairly. I don't know. I don't care how anybody argues that. Yes, yeah, you can argue we should have we should have a first choice goalkeeper. But then again, you must not make the first choice goalkeeper feel like he is a god, that no matter what happens, he keeps his place. That is a risky way to treat two goalkeepers at the club, making one feel like he's a god, making one feel like he's only important when the other one isn't available. Then again, as humans, the first choice goalkeeper, it will think that is will subconsciously not take things too seriously, not be on his toes to perform, or else lose his place. Even if you say this is your number one goalkeeper, you shouldn't treat the other goalkeepers in a manner that if you do better than him, you can come in. But that has not been the case of late, and I think that has contributed to poor performances from the goalkeeping department. Says Lukaku got to be the first player to go in the summer. Again, it is not that simple. It is a complicated situation in the sense that he is approaching 30. We paid so much for him, and I don't think the club would take so much loss for him. They will take an L, but not when it's too much. And who would want to pay that much money for him again when he's in such a horrible form? And again, this is not me saying that Lukaku is a bad player. He just doesn't suit the way we play, except if Thomas Tuchel loses his job and we get another manager. And again, you'd have to, the change in terms of style of play, identity would have to be drastic for us to accommodate Lukaku and have him firing on all cylinders. So I don't see that happening just easily like that. You mean a link to the panel? Link to the panel, did I misspell it? Let me know. Yes, thank you very much. Again, maybe I'm still angry. And yeah, if you rely on the defense of the midfield, again, I've read that before. I'm going to put the link again. Jorginho, Saul, okay, I've read all this comments. Let me see if there's anything to address here. This is Ankit saying Europe League next season looking likely at this point. If we keep playing like this, I don't think we'll be playing in the Champions League next season. I think that for Arsenal, I think it's always a one-off thing for them when they see Chelsea Football Club, where I think they've won their trophy for the season, which is beaten Chelsea. That's how I see it. I think that's it for Arsenal. They will still falter. Again, they find it difficult playing against teams that defend deep, just like us. But I think we're starting to do better than them against teams that defend deep or that defend as a unit. We didn't do that yesterday. We didn't defend well. We didn't defend from the. We didn't actually press well. So quite a lot was lots of stuff were wrong to the way we approached the game. We didn't press very well. We didn't pressure them in the midfield area. We didn't even read the way they operate, so that was why Smith Rowe had the chance to place that ball in the angle, which I think Mendy should have stopped. But that's a discussion for another day. I don't want to be the one to read that. I have my case about him. And one loss, one draw, and we are out of the top four. I think we will be there. Jorginho, South Barkley, Pulisic, Christensen, again, I'm not going to talk about the outing because we have another show coming tomorrow. We'll still talk about players we should keep or sell. Kante was very poor yesterday. Again, there was a time it was him that saved us. He broke up Arsenal's play. But again, a tree can never make a forest. But I don't know what's going on. A whole lot has been off in this team. Europe League next season looking likely. I don't think that would be the case. You want literally everyone in the team out. Exactly, that's where I am concerned. And again, please let me see. We have just 18 likes while we have 32 people watching. I think we can do better than that. Please do smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And more importantly, do not forget to click on the bell notification button so that whenever we go live, you get a notification. And pardon me while I take a sip of my coffee so I don't lose my voice and I work properly again because I'm still pissed. That's the truth. Yes, says Ankit says, except for Christensen, I have started the same. I started the same 11 yesterday, considering injuries to Rudiger, Kovacic, Cho, Kai looked fatigued. So down to players mentally more for me. I think that's a good argument right there. Again, that's again the reason. One of the reasons why I've argued the problem with Chelsea Football Club is that we have starters and we have backups, and the moment a starter gets injured, we'll finish. We've seen it happen in the midfield section. We've seen it happen in the defensive area in terms of Rudiger now. We've seen it happened with our wing backs. Once our Chawa got injured and once our Ristems got injured, we had quite a lot of problems in that area. So I think that's been the issue. We need to, change our approach to recruitment, get all starters. If any player isn't happy, then you push yourself to do better than the person that's starting. Then you get a chance to start, and not just to have two players per department. And once the other one only gets to play when the other one gets injured because the other one isn't good enough. That's dangerous. It's not helping us. Tobago, welcome to the panel. Just give me a second to breeze through the chat, and I'll come to you in a bit. It says again, anything here to address? Let me see. Chelsea must buy a centre back. That's important. Hopefully, they're still talking with Kunde. Darwin Nunes, or Rice, or Tremaine, or Delight, or Kunde. If you rely on the defenders of the midfield players, yeah, I get that. People thinking Kunde is the answer. He's not really the answer. Yeah, he's not. But at least he can be a good addition to the team in terms of ball playing centre back. You are in for a surprise. It's no. The guys is a bit better than Christensen and Chalobah at best. With mistakes like those two, I am concerned. Again, we have to be careful. And my brother Ludishenko says, I really dislike the fact that Arsenal makes Chelsea look like fools. I think they did make us look like ordinary. Again, that was shameful. And Ludishenko, my prayers and thoughts are still with you. I know you're from Ukraine. I don't know if you're Ukraine at this point. Hopefully the conflict comes to an end as soon as possible. Again, it says, Otara Walter says, Tuchel was not serious with that game. I think he trusted the 11 he selected, but he saw the shock of his life, if you ask me. Again, if you ask me, I'd say if Star is starting, I'd rather play Thiago Silva in the middle because he has a more camp presence there, and that will go a long way. But Christensen, I wouldn't start him if Thiago isn't. I wouldn't start Malang Sarr if Thiago isn't starting. I am struggling to think of a consistent player this season. There's never been any other than Kovacic, and his injury breaks his consistency. So Tobago, coming to you before I continue with the chat. And please, if you're watching, if you haven't, make sure to like the video. We have just 19 likes now. We can get it up to 30 at least as soon as possible. And we should be looking for 100 likes. If you haven't, please make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Tobago, I'll start with these statistics on the screen. Some argue that Thomas Tuchel is probably one of the best managers we've had at the club. But then again, I must say, you must not judge him by this stats alone that we're looking at on the screen. So your thoughts, what do you think about it? Tobago, let me know.
Big how are you?
I'm fine, brother. I can't complain. You.
Yeah, this doesn't look good because like I've saw that during the week, like our home stats under Tuchel are so bad. So I don't know why we're winning a lot of games away, but at home we are winning less games, and then we're even drawing a lot of games and losing like nothing else. Like the way we are losing is so scary, man. So about the Arsenal game, I've told people that we won't beat Arsenal. They laughed at me because I've told them every time Arsenal wants points and then they play against Chelsea, they always win against us.
Mm-hmm.
And then with
To
defensive
us, every
mistakes.
time they play us, I think they take it more seriously. To them, it's always like a cup finals, or cup final whenever they play Chelsea. Like for me, the way I put it, I see it. Arsenal have won their trophy for the season. Go ahead.
Yes, like, and then the most worrying part is like it's been a defensive mistake all the time when you lose against Arsenal at home. So clearly, to be honest, I want to blame Tuchel, but also I want to blame the players because like the coach show faith in you, and then today you are going to be in my starting 11. You need to play, but
Mm-hmm.
they show Tuchel flames. Yesterday, the game, I wasn't mad, but like the performance, was shocking. So clearly, we need to sell a lot of players. They don't need that. They are not needed at Chelsea anymore because like we can keep on having
But
like we
what
have
really?
a
What do
squad.
you think? What really happened? What really happened to you? What would you say happened? Because if you paid attention, there's a lot of stuff you must have observed. Can you hear
To
me,
be honest,
Tobago? What would you
like
say happened? What really happened?
to be honest, I think the players happened. I don't blame the coach. Because like most of the time you're going to blame Tuchel. Yes, I even said I blame Tuchel for this starting lineup, but at the same time, he need to rest other players. So he can keep going playing Kai Havertz in each and every time. Also Thiago Silva. Maybe if Thiago Silva have started yesterday, maybe something was going to be bad. And also, no man, Christensen. Oh, that guy. Like, how can you make such an error? Oh, so mad for that error. But anyway, it's
Yeah,
fine. We
that was
move on.
unbelievable.
Under pressure, you do that. No, man. Why you can't
No, he
kick the ball
wasn't
out
really
of the?
he wasn't really under pressure. He wasn't
Yes,
really. He could have dropped the ball and gently
first,
turn around, do something else with it, or pass it to Mendy. But that's, by the way. Go ahead. You were still saying something.
yes. It just made a throw in so that the players can come and then cover for you. Than
Mm.
like doing that mistake. And then almost Sa had a red card if he touched that striker in Ketia. So we have lost one man, maybe a penalty or something. So I'm so disappointed in Christensen. Always he do this to us when we have faith in him. But anyway, it's fine. Move on. If we play like this against West Ham's going to beat us again.
West Ham will score even more goals because they're gonna bully us. Hopefully, we have more, starting players since we have starters and backers. So hopefully, we'll have more starting players available. But I'm really concerned. Nick, coming to you, brother. How are you doing? You're probably saying it's a good thing you weren't at the stadium yesterday, Nick.
Yes, I would have gone mad. I did go mad anyway. But let
Mm.
me explain. I explained the situation. I told you before yesterday. I said Arsenal is our jinx side. If we're not 100%, we're going to lose, and that's what happened. It started really badly with your friend Andres Christensen.
My friend,
Yeah.
Nick, my friend.
Yes, your
All
friend.
right, go ahead.
Your friend Krusty the
It's
Clown.
okay.
Your friend Krusty the Clown. That's his nickname. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm joking anyway.
Hmm.
But that ridiculous, what's he trying to do? Make a back pass. All right, he miskicked the ball, but that's what started the downfall. When that happened, I thought, oh no, here we go again. You know. Then luckily we, equalized after 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Timo Werner doing the job. All right, deflected, but at least he shot on goal.
Yeah,
It was good.
if you don't buy tickets, you're never gonna win a lottery.
Yeah, so I'm glad, and then Arsenal come back and score again with another silly mistake. What's Ruben Loftus-Cheek doing, standing in the middle of the pitch, looking at the skies and hoping Roman is going to come flying down? That's what it looked like.
But why play him as a number 6? We talked about this before that game starts.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at all the games that Ruben Loftus-Cheek has played as number 6, I think we've lost almost all of them, if not all of them.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
again,
he can't play. He can't play that position.
no, he can't. He can't. He will move the ball very well for you, but in terms of doing what number 6s
Yeah,
do, he
at
can't.
times.
He doesn't
In
read the
times,
game very
no, he
well.
doesn't, coach. When he had to concentrate, he wasn't there. That caused the second goal. The third goal, Marley's. I told you he has too many mistakes in him. Put Chalobah on there. Don't go and rely on Sarr. You know he's going to make a mistake. That ball should have been cleared. It was bouncing like a yo-yo, but he had a chance to clear the ball. The idiot! What a flipping idiot he is.
Let's be Nick. I know we're peace, but let's be careful. And I know you're usually the one that preach it. We shouldn't be calling players names. They're humans. I know we're peace.
He was bad. He was bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. He was bad. It's good. Go ahead,
I'm so
Nick.
frustrated because the players that didn't show up for a great, a massive Arsenal-Chelsea game. In the past years, it was a biggest game of the season every Chelsea and Arsenal fan used to look for. And we were outsung as well by Arsenal fans. Because, all right, we couldn't get tickets, but the ones who were there, they should have been louder. There was enough of them to, be louder than Arsenal. Again, I told you, these season ticket holders, they're too busy watching films. That's what they do. And I don't know how I'm going to change that. But
and they left early.
Yeah, of course.
Most of them left early.
Yeah, we were losing 3-2 and they left. They left the idiot. Sorry. I have no, I'm going to mention this on Twitter. I'm really disgusted by them. They shouldn't be allowed to be Chelsea fans. I'm telling you. You said to me, you can't say no, he can't support you. I'm telling you, that's not supporting Chelsea when you live like that and you don't show up in the game either. It really got to me, really bad. Yeah. That's the worst. Let me go on with the match, Yeah, that's the 3 mistakes. Aspie, the penalty, I don't think it was a penalty myself.
No, it wasn't a penalty. We'll get to that. No. We'll talk about that. Don't give it away. Don't give it away, please.
All right, yeah. The problem was, you can't blame Thomas Tuchel either. That was a strong lineup. Any other day, that lineup beats Arsenal, it beats anyone. They're not rubbish players, but they were not it. They were dead. Mason Mount, where was he? I can make every single one of them were rubbish. They were dead, and it's not Tuchel's fault. So stop blaming anyone who blames Thomas Tuchel. They should go and have a brain test. All right, because it wasn't Tuchel's fault. That lineup should have produced for him. They didn't. They let him down, let the club down. And and the only one who can say he tried was Timo Werner. He actually tried. No one else.
He actually fought throughout the game like he's Chelsea through and through. Than most people in the team. I must say, I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of Werner. I hope he stays next year. I'm sure Tuchel will keep him. He was the only one fighting. Really, going for the ball. All right, we started with Lukaku. People are blaming because, if you go on Twitter, you're going to see how it's Lukaku's fault we lost. It's not Lukaku's fault. He was bad. I'm not saying he was good. He was bad. He should have done better. He wasn't on it. But no one was on it. Not Mount, only Werner up front. In the middle, rubbish. Even Kante was running up and down, but producing nothing. Kante was, Kante not himself. But you can't blame Kante because he's got Ruben next to him. Ruben didn't do his job, I'm afraid to say.
He didn't. I don't know why we still play him there. Again, I want to ask, Nick, let me quickly, please, so we don't isolate.
Wait.
I just don't want us to isolate those people in the chat, but go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
Let me finish. I'll finish soon. What was I saying now? Yeah, Rhys James, wrong position. That's one thing I didn't like from Tuchel. Rhys James is better at the right wing back, not at the right back. He can't play there. Wrong position for Rhys James. That's why he didn't show up in the game. He hardly done anything anyway. Everyone, they were dead. A charity CFC strikes again. And, I hope that's the last of it, because we've got West Ham Sunday. And then these players are supposed to be fighting for the Wembley places. Let's see who shows up on Sunday now. Go, carry on.
Yeah, we'll see. Let me quickly go through the chat. Anke says over 20 people watching. Why do we have 11 likes? I think we have 21 likes, but I know we can do better. Let's shoot for 100 likes before the show ends. We can do that. And please, if you want to share, more importantly, the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm pushes the stream to more people who would be interested in this conversation. And if you haven't, please be sure to go check out Almighty Blues FC. Great channel and great content as well. It says, how do you start Lukaku and Christensen? That's a good question. Again, during the pregame show, we talked about why it's important we face Arsenal with a fluidity and not power, because we're not going to beat them with power. We need fluidity to dismantle their defense. And if you see the goals who scored, especially I think our second goal, it was about fluidity. We were able to beat them, not about power, not about just, putting the ball inside the box because somebody who's huge and powerful is there. That's the case. I was surprised Lukaku started that game. It was, I think it was never going to be about power. It was going to, I don't know. Again, Tuchel, I don't know why he did that. Havertz, Nunes, Timo, we'll see what happens. FFP work permit. If you hate the squad, then you need to move on. Again, that's an argument, but yes, hit the like button. People says the queen of the house, Chess Viola, Rice Gallagher, and all that. Hamsmaster says a disgraceful performance. These players are disgraced. I am disappointed. I'm heartbroken, and I am disgusted. I am all these things you are right now. But I have to say, I wouldn't say they're a disgrace. There's a lot. That's why we're here to talk about it. To find out, okay, what really happened. But I think we'll get there. We'll see. Lukaku and Christensen must go. Again, that's you. Let's hit the like button. Says over half the squad need to go in the summer. It is not that simple. Even if you want to overhaul the team, it has to be systematic. If you do a drastic overhaul, then you create more problems. You'd starting from zero in terms of having a team that performs as a unit. So it's not that simple. Sedu Mekwe says the fan culture at Stamford Bridge needs to change. I know it ain't our biggest problem at the moment, but it's pretty embarrassing if the away fans chant louder than our fans every home game. I think this reason why it was like that, it was just the season ticket holders that were allowed to watch the game yesterday. So that also might have been the reason why we have the away fans chanting louder than our fans did yesterday. But then again, from the beginning, we knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. We knew that from the start. Hans, the coach, has to take blame to wasted Reece and played Aspi and Alonso as wing backs who didn't have the recovery speed against a quick Keith Chalobah. That's another concerning aspect to me. We knew they have a very pacey. Arsenal had a very pacey forward. So why didn't we prepare for that? That I don't know, because really, we have to be honest. Alonso, he did his best, but this kid really mopped the floor with him. But that's by the way. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. So 3 losses at home. It's not one off. We are consistently dropping points. This is crunch time. Yeah, we need to really talk about it and look at things seriously. Why have we been losing, games at home? It's not good. It's not like Chelsea Football Club. Stamford Bridge used to be a fortress. We miss the fans. Yeah, we do miss them in a very big way. True Blue, the selection was the coach, but the performance on the pitch, the players. Yep, let's say it the way it is. Why are they part of the squad if they're not good enough to play for Chelsea in the first place? We miss the fans, miss the English League trophy. We miss a whole lot of things. We miss good performances from our players. Again, let me see if there's anything to address here. Again, remember the link to the panel is in the chat and it's pinned at the very top. So in case you want to jump on and express yourself. And this is Choma. the lineup was out of order. Choma sounds like somebody that's from my tribe, and I appreciate seeing you here. How are you doing, Choma? Keduki Email. I'm Amnine more for pardon my language. I have to speak it because I'm proud of it. Again, nice to see you here, Choma. And if you haven't, please be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you want to join us on the panel to express yourself, the link to the panel is in the chat and it's pinned to the very top. Says the whole fan base blaming TT is scaring me. I don't think it's the whole fan base. Did he make a mistake? Possibly, I won't say that, but a lot was wrong, and he had to, rest some players. Plus, Rudiger got injured, so Malang Sarr was forced on him. If you like, he had no choice than to start Malang Sarr. Also, so we don't know. There's so much we didn't know. We didn't know that led to us, fielding that 11. I agree, Nick Blue. They all say we were not proper choice. These are season ticket holders yet. Probably, I don't know. I don't want to say something to sound like I'm discriminating some section of the fan base. That is not who I am. Fairboy says, shambolic performance, still annoyed. I'm still annoyed too. I'm not playing Chalobah, but Tuchel usually plays him as right centre back. I think he's done well. Whenever he's played in the right centre back position, he's done quite well. That's why. But then again, we don't know what's going on with Chalobah. He hasn't played as many games as we thought he'd play since his return from injury. ISIS says Sal Kante. It sounds easy. I think selling Kante wouldn't solve our problem. Kante is getting older, and many of the players will struggle because of Ramadan. That's another point. And the combination of fixtures incoming, that's another point. That's why it's important that we don't just jump to blaming anybody. Here we say it was City's fault. Again, that's you. Again, let me see. I would keep Timo. Again, this is not about keep or no keep. Says, no offense to Timo, but he's only getting credit because there are more players worse than him. I think that's not the case. I think Timo is on a high. At this point, he's really doing well. We are dropping points against West Ham, Man United, and Everton was because these players, I think a lot would change because I think Takuma will make some changes and hopefully Kova returns as soon as possible. Don't play Alonso and Aspi as wing backs. I think that's a great argument. Also, it depends on the formation. You could say that the legs to recover and all that. Yeah, that could be the case. And I didn't say, okay, just a conversation between those in the chat. Again, there's so many to get through here. But if you have a question, be sure to drop it there. Why is it an excuse that only something we're in attendance? Again, the season ticket holders were in attendance. Again, it's no excuse. It's no excuse at all. We've played behind closed doors before. Again, it's another factor. You have to say something about it. They weren't as loud as they should be, but that's not the reason why we lost the game. So I want us to also look at this here. It's important because to me, I'd say I'm beginning to be concerned about Thomas Tuchel. Maybe we could look at other factors and say, well, it is not his fault. Nizar Kinsella says it is the first time Chelsea have lost 3 home games in a row since 1993. They've also conceded 4+ goals for 2 consecutive league games for the first time since 1989. Wow. Tobago, your thoughts?
I'm so shocked. The way we defended home. Also, I want to ask you something, Coach, about Edward Mendy's recent performance at home.
You're trying to start something that's going to get me into trouble. Here's where
is he good enough?
The issue. Sorry?
Is he good enough this season?
I wouldn't go to the essence to say whether he's good enough or not. Here's the thing: Mendy is a good goalkeeper, and some argue that he's world class, and you could argue that. But here's the issue here: he has no competition, and the way manager has treated Kepa Arrizabalaga shows Mendy you're God here. You have nothing to fear about. I get the argument about first choice goalkeeper, second choice goalkeeper. Some say Mendy, some say Kepa Arrizabalaga has accepted that he's the second choice goalkeeper. When did he tell you that? Did he call you on the phone and tell you that? That's the question I ask those people that say that Mendy has made quite a lot of mistake, which is too much for me. After the West Ham game, after the game against West Ham, except I think one game or two games, every other game that he's played, he's averaged at least one mistake. One mistake, which includes just booting the ball out to throw in, or just to nobody, or just to the opposition. Look, Mendy is a world-class goalkeeper. If you want to argue that, I won't argue against that. But the truth is, if you keep treating Kepa the way you're treating him, subconsciously, Mendy will realize, okay, I don't have a problem here. I have nothing to worry here. And subconsciously, it will affect his performance. He needs to realize you can actually drop to the bench if you keep making these mistakes. You need to work on some of the things you do. You get the point. If you do it that way, then he becomes an even better goalkeeper. But now he has no competition, and I think Thomas, the handwriting is clear on the wall. It's Mendy or nobody else. And that is not okay. But I know some people have argued otherwise. And the day we talked about it here, it took me like almost 3 hours to explain the point I was trying to pass, make them understand. I wasn't saying that Mendy is a bad goalkeeper. It's just that you need to make him understand we have another good goalkeeper on the bench that if you don't do well, you drop to the bench. But that has not been the case. He knows. He probably feels like a god right now. But that's, by the way, Nick, I want to bring you in. Tell us what you think about the goalkeeping situation.
Yeah. Mendy has been terrible. Like you said, like we said the other day, I was, backing your words because it's true. Forget everyone else was saying now he's number one and Kepa you wouldn't be even thought about. What rubbish. Mendy needs competition. And the only way he's going to get competition if you drop him and put Kepa in for the next game. He was terrible yesterday. Not just yesterday. Like you said, how many games has he given the ball away to the opposite side? It's too many now. Kepa needs to come and go for me. Sooner the better. So Mendy doesn't think it's just him. It's like you said, he thinks he's undroppable. So he can't perform. He doesn't care. He does care. I'm not saying he doesn't care, but he won't perform as good, as he should because he knows he won't be dropped. That's ridiculous. What's the point of having a number one and number two and even a number three? Doesn't make sense. And the other day, you heard what they were saying, some of our panelists. They haven't got a clue, all of them. They said he's undroppable. Kepa should be just sold. You can't get a better number two than Kepa. That's for sure.
Yeah, here's something you said. Here's something you said, Nick. Just 1 second, Nick. You said something very important, and I like it. You said if Mendy is undroppable, why do we have number two and number three? Number one, two, three goalkeepers. What's the point? In case if the other one underperforms, the other one takes over. But you're making the other two that's behind Mendy to know you're useless. You're just a decoration here. You're just here to make up the number. And that gets into the head of Eduardo Mendy, whether he's intentionally or otherwise. It happens with humans. But go ahead, Nick.
For this, I blame Thomas Tuchel for this. I love Tuchel. But he's wrong. He has to drop Mendy for his own sake. Otherwise, he won't be.
Exactly, that's the point, Nick. For his own sake, for his own good.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to mention something.
Yeah, go on to it.
Nick, wait.
Yeah, go on to it.
Let's make example. Lukaku had 9 games or 11 games without performance. Since those games, Kayavet is playing, he's performing. If you're not performing, you need to go in the bench and then just wait for your time again and then start performing. If we had Jose Mourinho, after that West Ham mistake, I don't think Mendy will have started the second game because Jose Mourinho doesn't like players who making same mistakes in each and every time. Like how many times we fought for Kepa, just cup finals, semi-finals, just to give him motivation, because like Kepa under Tuchel is so perfect. I don't remember Kepa making mistakes under Tuchel. So that's my only concern.
He actually has a better record, although you could argue he's played less games under Tuchel, but he has better, he has better, better record under Thomas Tuchel. But that's, by the way, here's the thing. I want to say thank you for Nick for mentioning that. We have number one goalkeeper, number two goalkeeper, number three goalkeeper. If you're saying that Mendy is undroppable, then why do we have the second and the third? And it doesn't help Mendy himself. For like Nick said, for the good of Mendy, you need to show him you're droppable. You drop to the bench if you keep making these silly mistakes, because it looks like he's so too casual about it. In most cases, he's not even concerned about losing his place, and that's dangerous. And I agree with my sister Choma here, who says Mendy needs a break. Kepa needs to be given a chance, and that creates competition. We need a competition. I'm gonna read these comments here because I loved it. That's from one of the queens of the house, Just Viola, who says no Silva, no Rudiger, no defense, and that shows you something I've argued here before. The problem with our squad is that we have a bloated squad that's not even balanced. We have starters and we have backups. And once any of the starters is out of the team, we have a serious problem. Now we see how if Rudiger isn't in the team, we have a serious problem. If Thiago Silva isn't there, our defense, there's no coordination at all. They don't play as a unit. They're just everywhere. They're not calm on the ball, always in a hurry to do something and make serious mistakes. When what's his name? Kovacic isn't playing, we find it very difficult to progress the ball against oppositions that press us aggressively or defend deep. All these things gives us reason why we should be very careful with our recruitment. We must not just go for starters and backup. We must go for all starters to push each other, to compete with each other. Then whoever is in the best form at the moment starts for us. And when that person gets injured, we have a capable replacement that maybe could even do better or gets the chance to say, okay, I have a chance here to be the starting player, and puts in more effort. But I don't know. I don't think Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection of Eduardo Mendy Paris Abalaga very well. I don't care what anybody else argues. I'll still be making my voice heard. Go ahead, Nick. You wanted to say something.
One more point on that, Coach. One more point on Kepa Mendy. Look, it's very obvious. I'm not Tuchel. You're not Tuchel. We're thinking the right thing. How can Tuchel not realize? How can he not realize that if he puts Kepa in and drops Mendy for 1 or 2 games, depends on Kepa, because if Kepa comes in and performs and plays really good, saves, does everything right, there's no reason to drop Kepa. It doesn't matter if number 1 or number 2. They're there to fight fight against each other. And that's what Checo brought Mendy for, to give Kepa a competition. That's what the whole point was. So what's going on? I don't understand Tuchel right now with that situation. I
seriously don't understand. Seriously.
No, that one is wrong. If anything is wrong, this is more wrong than the team he picked. This situation has to stop. You have to give Kepa the chance and make Mendy think he's not undroppable. Because he's
like you said, for his own good.
For his own good, of course. That's the only way he can get better. It doesn't make sense to me, honestly. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, because as it is now, he's never going to get better. He has no competition. He has nothing, no reason to push himself, to do even better. And with that, I want to say, please, if you haven't, be sure to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, and Choma, I think this is your first time here. Please, if you haven't, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video, share, tell everybody you know that's a Chelsea supporter about the Blue Morning Show. Yes, I want to talk about this coming on the screen also, where just Viola says, "Oh yeah, if he was exactly," she says, "Oh yeah, no one is talking about Mendy now. If Kepa had made that mistake, yeah,
Of course.
it would,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It would take
That's
a
a great
billion years
point.
to stop talking about it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
If it was Kepa, we'd be bringing the knives out. That's what will happen. I
yeah.
can't understand this fan base either. What they said the other day. Coach. You know what I'm talking about. That we took 3 hours to try to get the point through, and our point didn't get through because they kept going, "No, Mendy can't be dropped." That was. I don't want to get into that debate again because it would take another 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that debate. I think it's hard to win. I must let you know. I must let you know. You understand. But that's by the way. Let me read
But
these. And
you
just feel
know,
like I've been expecting you to say hello to Choma in Igbo language because you've learned how to type in Igbo. That's good. Let me quickly go through the chat. Yeah, we've read this one. And you boy says Tuchel should have seen this coming. His players' rotation have been shocking. So many players need a rest, or players are taken out for a beat. Mendy, for instance. Yes, exactly. But again, I nearly got battered here the day I argued Mendy needs to be dropped. And like Nick did put it, for his own good. He needs to be dropped for his own good. He gets better. He be on his toes, improve in areas he needs to improve. You can say he did very well when he newly arrived because he knew then the number one position wasn't his until he fights and made it his. So, but I don't know. I'd argue again. I don't care what anybody says. Thomas Tuchel hasn't handled the selection of the goalkeepers very well.
yeah.
He's made one look like a god,
Coach,
make the
another
other look like
comparison.
his nonsense. Go ahead.
Another comparison. Look, why was Werner dropped? Because he was rubbish. He was hopeless. He was making mistakes, missing open goals. So Tuchel drops him. He brings him back, and look the change. Look at the difference now.
Yeah,
That's the
he's better now.
comparison. So why don't you do it with your goalkeepers? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, again, Steve Chelsea says, big up everyone. Big up to you too, Steve Chelsea. In my opinion, I blame Thomas Tuchel. Again, that's you. I don't think the formation is the issue. Again, you could argue that Tuchel cannot play this information against Palace for FA Cup. Where are you, Steve Chelsea? Okay. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Yes, thank you, Chama. Dalo, I appreciate that. Again, let me see. Steve Chelsea says Tuchel always, I think he can throw any players out there who hasn't played for many games. I think that's another one. Yeah, players, you can't just make so many changes, and the changes you make if it involves starting too many players that hasn't played for a while. I think usually you see that disjointed performance. But then again, I think a lot went wrong yesterday. So Nick, I want to ask you, what do you think about these two records here? Thomas Tuchel, as much as he's been doing well as a manager, he's been breaking records from a negative perspective too. Your thoughts?
Yes, exactly. Look at the latest record he's broke. When's the last time Chelsea lost 3 consecutive home games? It was 1998, I think. 97, 98. That's the last time. Imagine. How long is it? That's unbelievable. That's ridiculous. Not only to lose, but to lose by 4 goals to 1, 3 goals to 1, now 4-2. That's never happened since the 90s. That's before Mourinho or anyone. That's when we had who did we have then? We had not Neil. We had what's his name? God, it's gone out of my mind now. Before Mourinho, we had Ranieri. That's it, Ranieri.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was that time to lose 3 games like this. That's a great, you know, that's a record you don't want to have. And you know, he's done great. I'm saying for the time he's been here, with the squad he had to inherit, and he didn't buy anyone really. Lukaku, you can't say that's his signing. That was a Mourinho's son signing. So that's why I don't blame Tuchel for everything. The time to judge Tuchel is next year, when he can, get the players out. That once he doesn't want to bring his own players, then we can judge him. Then we're going to judge him by results. That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah, again, we can't really blame Thomas Tuchel for the loss. And I must let you know here, we're so reactionary. Again, that's what fans do. We react to what's happening to our club. But the truth is, we rant, we vent our anger. But I think in a few days, with another win, it goes away. But then again, this is not a record to be proud of.
No.
Again, let me read it to you if you're paying attention. Limitless, it says, it is the first time Chelsea have lost 3 home games in a row since 1993. If that's even before Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea Football Club.
Yes.
They've also considered 4+ goals for 2 consecutive games for the first time since 1989. So it is something that we need to talk about. And again, like I said, Thomas Tuchel, he's been breaking some records in terms of how many finals he's taken us to under a year, or within a year plus or so. He's also breaking records from a negative perspective. That's not what I'm not blaming him, honestly, and I think a lot of fans are not blaming him too.
No,
exactly.
They're not blaming him because he's
not. But yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
This is Frank Lampard's squad. It's not Tuchel's. So we can't judge him on that. It's bad to have these records. Since '93 for Liverpool, man, and it's crazy. But it's not. It's for the team he put out yesterday. Before the game, people will say, "Oh, what's this? What's that?" I said, "This team should be strong enough to beat Arsenal." And if they would have beat Arsenal. But the sad thing is, they weren't on it. They were dead, all the players, except Werner. No one, from Mendy to Lukaku, all rubbish. Every single one of them, except Werner. And I don't blame.
I get your point. And I'm honest, I wouldn't let Limitless know. I just wish I am as enthusiastic as you are, or easily to let these things go as simple. No, the records have been. This is not us breaking. This is not us blaming Thomas Tuchel. This is us talking about what we see. We have to talk about it because it's there, and it's surprising that as well as he's done as Chelsea, he's in the last position. Even Lampard did better. So we need to talk about it. Nobody is saying because of that. Thank you. There you go. We must talk about mistakes killed us, and it's too many. One too many. There's too many mistakes. It's not like one. It's not like it's just two. And in games we've lost of late, is this one mistake after the other. So it needs to be sorted out. And again, that's why we need to talk. Yeah, thank you. There you go. I didn't know you were a human being after I thought maybe you had a still heart. So again, it really hurts. And the poll I have there shows you not many fans out there are blaming Thomas Tuchel. Still, it hasn't ended. 60% says no, while 40% says yes, they blame Thomas Tuchel. I wouldn't blame him. And if you check some context to the way some factors, that have contributed to Chelsea's poor performances is the fact I think we've played the most games in all Europe. I think check it. I think correct me if I'm wrong. That alone is huge. It's very huge, and players are tired. There are all the factors you could argue contributed to the poor performance. But overall, we shouldn't be conceding goals like that. It is really concerning. We knew it was going to be a difficult game, but nobody would have thought that we will be disgraced at home. Let's just move. We'll do the player ratings in a bit. But I want to ask you, Nick, your thoughts on how well Timo Werner has done of late. Because whether we like it or not, I think he's been doing well, and it doesn't look like it's a one-off thing.
Yeah, for me, he looks, more determined, more energetic, if you like to say. He's very determined, very energetic. He's there fighting for every ball. And when he's trying, you can see he's trying really hard. That's all I want to see from him. And slowly, the goals will come. More goals will come for him because his confidence is going up every game he plays. He's going up now. So for me, he's the first one on the team sheet on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, and you can see he's very high on confidence. And I think he starts the fact that he took that shot that deflected for our first goal. And that shows you he has his confidence back again. Go ahead.
Before that, he wouldn't have took that shot. He would have tried to pass it to someone or something like that. But you see, because he went for it. All right, he was lucky he deflected twice, but as long as you shoot the ball, you have a chance to score. So, I'm very proud of Werner, really proud.
Yeah, Werner has done really well for you. Let me ask you this, Nick. I think it's just, let me say, maybe the obvious, if you want to phrase it that way. Did you see the type of fight we usually see when that is during London derbies? I didn't think I didn't see that from our players. We didn't play like it was a London derby. It was Arsenal that played like they wanted it. And they deserved to win, I must say. They played like they wanted to win. They pressed us aggressively. They pressed us strategically. They were on us to force the mistake that even led to the first goal. Again, to me, I'd say we didn't play like we wanted to win. Your thoughts?
No, we didn't. For a London derby, that's disgusting. If it was John Terry, the times of John Terry, Lampard, the team and Drogba, they used to fight for the London, any game, not just the London derby. The spirit wasn't there. There's no spirit. That game against Arsenal, the players they shouldn't need anything else. Even if they're tired, there's no excuses. Because only the game, you're playing against Arsenal, your rivals, one of your big rivals for decades. You have to show up, you have to fight. But no, they chose to freeze and die last night. That's why I got be annoyed, because I've never seen a Chelsea team in the past play like that against a London rival. That's bad. This is one of the worst performances in our history against a London rival. We had a few bad West Ham and that, but not this bad. This was ridiculous. From Mason Mount, look, Mason Mount should know better. He's an Englishman. Rhys James, they're brought up to, for these games, and they didn't show it. None of them. Mount, you done that pass. That's the only thing he did. What did he do apart from the pass? And the goal came from Aspie's great run in the first place. I'm really upset. I said it on Twitter. I think Mount should have another haircut. It might get him going again. No,
that's hilarious. My brother here, probably Ikechigu, I says I can a little bit speak Igbo, but I can fully understand Igbo. I grew up in America. Okay, good to hear. At least you can speak at all. I hope my kids speak my dialect. I'll try the best I can. Chelsea, maybe he played him. Okay, I'm not sure. We're not going to talk about that. I think. I think this one again, smash that like button, says Tuchel got it wrong, started from the lineup. He knows very well Lukaku wants to go, but he keeps hopeful. We played, again, 10 men. Again, that's your argument, but I want to say I don't think, I wouldn't really blame Lukaku. Like Nick here has established, we didn't see the fight you see from Chelsea players when we play London rivals. Even some people will go as far back as saying when we had Didier Drogba, not even that, when we had what's his name, Eden Hazard, when we had Willian, when we had David Luiz. You don't need to go back that far. Even we had when we had David Luiz, all those players, even when they play, even what's his name, Oscar, when they play against London rivals, you see the spirit, you see the performance, you see the fight, you see that they want to win. You see them fight like their life depends on it. But we did not see that yesterday, and to me that was really concerning. I again, it was like Arsenal were the one that were playing in the cup final. They wanted to win. The game meant that is everything to them. And in the end, congratulations to them. They deserve to win. I must let you know. So I'm really concerned again. I just don't know if it. I think the mentality of these players. Let's just quickly switch and talk about let's talk about the charity FC factor, which I say I have argued in the past. It's a phenomenon, really, and it's well and truly in existence. But what is it really? I think it's a mentality thing. It's a mentality thing that players, they take teams for granted. Because the truth is, had Arsenal been playing well, been winning all their games, I think believe me, we'd play better. But we have players, set of players, if you ask me, I'd argue that when they see teams that aren't doing well, they take them for granted. They don't play them with, the seriousness that they should play with them against, and then, drop their guards, and then we end up losing a game such as an important game against Arsenal. Because if you ask me, I'd say probably we'll be playing in their, in their heads. The Arsenal haven't won. They've lost 3 in a row. We can beat them, but it's not that simple. That mindset is a problem. I think that mindset is what you can say is the charity FC itself. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. I agree with you. They take it for granted. They think they've won before the game started because Arsenal lost the last 3 games and they've been rubbish. But no, they take it. That's how they think. They think, we don't have to do it. We've won this game anyway. Yeah, but that's the wrong attitude. You sort of coming onto the pitch of showing fight for that badge you wear. That's I don't understand that. Even Aspie tried. I know Aspie tried. He always does, but. It got a lot of blame. You see what happened at the end with that fan in the West End. Mm-hmm. He said something to him, and Aspie didn't like it. It wasn't Aspie's fault, the game. None of them played well. None of them fought like they should. And that's why Aspie was so upset, I think. Because he's a player who fights. Can't do it on his own. And we missed Rudiger badly yesterday. It shows how much we have to give Rudiger the contract now. That just clarifies it. Doesn't matter what he wants, give him what he wants, because we're going to struggle next year. If we don't have Rudiger in that team, doesn't matter who we buy, we're going to be struggling, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Robert Anderson says that TT played a part in our game last night because the lineup was bad. He would have played Silva, Kai and Chaluba. Again, you could argue that, but I think Silva he's played so many games of late. I remember he's not 22 or 25. I think he needs a rest, and I think Tuchel trusted these guys. But I think he will learn he must have learned quite a lot yesterday. And in terms of Malang Sarr, he had to pick Malang Sarr because we learned that Rudiger, he got injured. So I think it's not that straightforward for him to. I think. Some people actually during the pregame show called for Kai Havertz to rest because he looked bad. He didn't look up to par in the last game he started, so he needed that rest. So I think we shouldn't blame Thomas Tuchel. He had to do with what he had, and again, it was an awful game. We must realize that. And again, if you haven't, please, we have just 28 likes. I think we can do better than that. Let's shoot for at least 100 likes before the end of the show. And if you can, please do share the stream on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever platform you are present, and get others to come and join us here. Let me see if I have any other question here to address. Playing along Alonso, who cannot track back quickly. Rudiger always covers Alonso. Again, it depends. I think the midfield was an issue for me. If you're in the chat, let me know if you've seen any game that we played that Ruben Loftus-Cheek played as one of the 2-6s, and we won that game. I think there's hardly a one that can come to mind. Let me know. Chama says, imagine if we finish below top 4, it's time for Chelsea FC to be serious. Exactly. It's going to be, the banter will be serious. But again, I still think Arsenal will not make top 4. They're good, but they struggle quite a lot, just like us. When they play teams that defend deep, they struggle a lot. And I think this is a one-off thing. They've won their trophy for the season, which has beaten Chelsea, if you ask me. Again, if you're in the chat, if you have any questions for us, let me know. And I'm going to put a poll out to see if you guys would like us to do, to rate the players. And look, for the poll where I asked, do you think Thomas Tuchel, do you blame Thomas Tuchel for the loss? Again, 64% says yes. 36% says no. If you're in the chat, can you let us know why you think it was Thomas Tuchel's fault that we lost that game? And again, please, if you haven't, make sure to like the video. So I'm going to end. I'm going to end the poll to ask you guys if you want us to rate the players, do the player ratings. But then again, it looks like more people are blaming Thomas Tuchel for the loss. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Nick, go ahead if you want to add anything while I am creating the poll. Nick, are you there?
Yeah, I was on mute. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good idea. I have a poll, but I don't understand why everyone's blaming Tuchel. That shouldn't. All right, he got the lineup wrong a bit, but it's not his fault. What can he do when Rudiger he's injured? Havertz. All right, maybe Havertz needed a rest, and not only a rest, he had a little injury as well. So that's why he play them. Otherwise, Havertz would have started and Rudiger. You can't play these guys every single game. That's impossible. That's why he, changed the lineup a bit, and he has to go with that lineup. The lineup was strong enough. I keep saying it. Any other day, that lineup beats any team. So there's no excuses. Stop blaming Tuchel because you haven't got what you're talking about.
Yeah, and again, before I go, I have my brother Fahima in the studio. If you haven't, please be sure. I don't recommend channels that that are not good for you. I don't recommend channels that clickbait. Go and check CFC Fahim's channel. Nick, I don't know if you're subscribed already. Yeah, I know you trust me. Again, go check out CFC Fahim.
Yeah.
Great channel, great content, great individual, and a brother. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, big up, Fahim. I know. Yeah, we talk on Twitter a lot. We call comment with each other, but that's how it is. Yeah. We said a lot. We said about the game what we think. Let Fahim. Let's see what he thinks.
Yeah, Fahim, tell us what you think about that performance yesterday.
The performance yesterday was. It reminds me again the Brentford performance. Defensively, all over the place again. I see people blaming They're trying to find scapegoats on Tuchel. Look, the lineup. It's not really what can Tuchel do. That's one thing that confuses me. Rudiger injured, Thiago Silva overloaded, Kai Havertz overloaded, Kovacic injured, Saul not reliable. We always criticize Saul. He's not been performing that well. Jorginho and Kante, inconsistent form. They've not been showing their best performance in recent times. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, again, another one. We still have questions about Ruben. As a right wing back, because Reece James needs to be eased into the team. He can't really play at high intensity right now. Just came back from injury, so he needs minutes on the pitch. So he plays right centre back. So Aspie, that forces Aspie to play right wing back because we've not got any other options at right wing back. If Hudson-Odoi was fit, I think he may have started Hudson-Odoi right wing back, but he's not fit. He's another one. The only blame I would give Tuchel is starting Lukaku, because you had Ziyech and Pulisic on the bench. I think they definitely warrant a start more than Lukaku. The only reason I could think Lukaku started against Arsenal mainly could be the fact that he played well against them near the start of the season. But other than that, he definitely never warranted us. He didn't warrant a start against Arsenal, a big game against Arsenal, because recent performances he's not done anything. He missed a sitter against Crystal Palace, so I don't want to blame everything on Tuchel. I'm seeing people on Twitter blaming everything on Tuchel, about the lineup, about how we set up. Tuchel, listen, I think people need to understand and realize that this is not Tuchel's team. He's just inherited the players that he's just inherited this squad, and he has to make use of one or some of them. And then he's made some players overperform, like at times, like last season and start of this season. Like you've seen Ruben into this team. Who would have thought Ruben would have been at Chelsea in 2022 playing against Real Madrid? Who would have thought about that? But this is sort of the thing Tuchel has to deal with right now, and I'm not going to blame too much on Tuchel. The players definitely deserve some blame for that loss yesterday. The board definitely deserves a blame for not backing Tuchel in January for the wing-back situation. So yeah, like I think Christensen making that silly error in the first goal that we conceded, it was, I don't know. I keep saying that Christensen has been doing this for time, and I see the fan base go on Chalobah's neck for making errors. Christensen has been making errors for time. He's been at the club for almost in the first team for almost 5 years, I think, or 4 years. He's been making errors like this under Conte, under Sarri, under Lampard. So I'm not surprised that he made a stupid error like that yesterday. Malang Sarr, again, like Tuchel, I don't even think Tuchel even wanted Malang Sarr. The club just brought him in on a free transfer. It looks like we made a loss on Malang Sarr right now. So yeah, like individual errors costed us the game.
Yeah, it has. It has quite a lot. And again, I don't see too many reasons to blame Thomas Tuchel. He has to rotate the team. Again, what I tell all those in the chat is, you go do your research check. Chelsea have played the most games in the whole of Europe. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. And again, we need to rest the players. Again, remember, he was forced to make those changes, and he believed it was going to work. But the only aspect I disagree, but still I'm not going to blame him for the loss, is starting Ruben Loftus-Cheek as number 6. There's never a time Ruben played in that position that we've won a game. If there is, then it's just one game or two. Let me know if I'm wrong. But for him, more importantly overall, I'm going to go through the chat and I'll come back to you with a question regarding whether did it look like it was a London derby from the perspective of Chelsea. But I didn't say. I'd say it didn't look like that. It says, I blame Tuchel. Phil Anyamu. Nice to see you here. He says, I blame Tuchel. You cannot play Christensen and Malang Sarr at once. No one coordinating the defense. I agree with in terms of no one was coordinating the defense. He's as calm and as cool as Christensen looks on the ball in terms of coordinating the defense and in terms of ensuring that defense plays as a unit. I think he cannot do that, even though he has some similar attributes with Thiago Silva. Kante's form has dropped. The midfield was in disarray. Ziyech should have started. I think Ziyech also should have started because it's not like he's injured or he's not fit. So I'm not sure what happened there. And again, I agree also that the midfield was in disarray because that was why Arsenal's midfield operated. That is with impunity. They did whatever they wanted, and we didn't even stop them. says, thank you for that. You make sense. Yep, he did. Tuchel didn't even buy one player. I think, yeah, you could argue that, but at least he okayed the signing of Romelu Lukaku. So again, he signed Lukaku no matter how you see it. He trusted Christensen versus Palace with Rudiger, Thiago Silva, and Aspi. No leader at the back. That's a great point there. No leader at the back. First half, Arsenal already got the power after 2-2 halftime before Thiago Silva came on. Yep. Let me see. Limitless says we need to rotate, and the team is not good enough when starters are out. Exactly, and that brings us back to my argument. We have starters and backups. That's an issue. We should have all starters so that whenever player A isn't playing, player B would do an equally good job. We have no squad depth in terms of quality. Yep. That's a great argument right there. Very well said. So, Fahim, coming back to you, did you see the perspective that shows, this is a London derby? That it was a London derby, yeah.
Like, we can make excuses for the lineup, but yeah, it didn't. The whole team didn't perform like it was a London derby. It really didn't. Like, you don't make errors like that against Arsenal. We weren't really trying to play at a high intensity. We weren't trying to press aggressively like we did against Real Madrid. We were a bit slow in transition. Our wing backs, like, they weren't really. They're not the quickest, so I can't really blame Tuchel on that really too much, playing a wing back. But not only that, the team performance, but also the crowd from our side, the Chelsea supporters. Like, there was 25,000, I think, at the bridge for Chelsea fans and 5,000 for Arsenal fans. I didn't really hear much from the Chelsea side. I was hearing a lot from the Arsenal side, which was a bit disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, but as a performance, no, we didn't perform like a derby, like it was a derby. We really didn't. So I don't know why that's the case. We've got West Ham, which is pretty much another London derby this weekend. So we have to see what we can do, and especially this is at home. Our home record is awful. I don't know what it is. 3 straight home losses.
Well, yeah, which hasn't happened for a while. Let me look at it here. Sorry, I'll go back to it, but I want us to really look at it. It hasn't happened. Go ahead. You were saying something. I'll let you know when I have it open.
Yeah, so 3 straight home losses. I don't know what's the reasoning why we do terrible at home right now, but
no, not yet. I forgot.
Go ahead, Fahim.
I think it's. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I think Tuchel even said it in his interview. He doesn't even know the answer to why we're performing bad at home. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we look brilliant away, but at home it's been something to be concerned about. Nick, let's talk about the fan factor because some people try to use it to say the fans weren't that loud. Is that an issue? Is that one of the reasons why? Because are the fans allowed to attend the away games, the non-season ticket holders?
Yes. Only season ticket holders now for the league game. Even
home and away.
Yeah. Only the members are allowed for the final. FA we're out of the Champions League, so we only have the FA Cup final to get tickets. We can't get the tickets. You can't buy it. That's what they've done. That's the sanctions they made till we get the new owner. So, for the rest of the season, it's going to be like this. And then, there was about, yesterday altogether, I reckon, just over 30,000 in the stadium. About 4,000 to correct. The majority were Chelsea fans. And, it pissed me off last night because Arsenal were too loud. Chelsea fans, let them be loud for some reason. But I know one reason is because, I'm not saying all season ticket holders are quiet. There is some who are passionate, I'll see them, but there is a lot who ain't. a lot of them just sit there quietly watching the game. They don't even get up, jump up or nothing. Or they don't even move. They don't sing. They don't shout. I've been sitting next to them for years, and I'm sick of them, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think quickly soon we'll be switching to the sale of the club. There are some developments we need to talk about and what that means. But that's, by the way, let me ask, if you're in the chat, let us know if you think the fan factor is an issue. I wouldn't say that. Mr. Lana says Arsenal really take the London derby very seriously and Tuchel just blames the pitch. This is a very comical one. Fahim, your thoughts on Tuchel blaming the pitch?
Yeah, I think that was a bit of weird. It's a bit of a weird excuse. I think with
Did he
Arsenal,
just want to distract from the players making the mistake?
I think so, yeah. But when it comes to Arsenal taking the derby very serious, I don't think Chelsea. Tuchel's intention is to be serious against London teams. I don't think his intention is to be unserious against Arsenal. I think it's the team that lets him down at times. Like when you're making errors like that, can you really blame Tuchel for Christensen making that error or Malang Sarr dancing around in the penalty box? Like, can you really blame Tuchel make it for individual errors? No. So I don't think it's Tuchel being.
Or Ruben Loftus-Cheek looking at the skies, waiting for to jump down. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we're not taking it serious. I think the players sometimes don't take it serious for themselves. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, with that, I want to welcome Max from Burton Ballerz to the panel. Max, welcome to the panel today. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah, it's all good. And getting over yesterday, I'm just doing a little stroll in the sunshine. So yeah, all good. All good.
Oh, so you usually at work at this time. Is that the case?
Yeah, I'm just usually doing my lunchtime walking
Okay.
around about this time. So yeah.
Okay, that's by the way. But Max, I want to quickly ask you your thoughts on what happened. What really happened? What do you think happened? Because to me, the Chelsea boys, they didn't approach the game like it was a derby at all.
Yeah, it's a mentality thing, I think, and we seem to do that. And it's what is annoying for me is that the players pick and choose which games they want to perform in, which to me is not good enough. That's why for the last few years, we've been a cup team and not competing in the league. We saw what we're capable of when we played against Real Madrid the other day. That's the Chelsea that we can, but we don't do enough of those performances. We saw in the League Cup against Liverpool where, we were cheated out of the win on that day. We were the better team on that day. The only team I think is outclassed us this season, where we didn't have a clue, was Manchester City. Yeah, and all the other defeats that we've had this season have been our own downfall. Yeah, one can argue the West Ham game, I suppose, we're a little bit unfortunate, but even then, it was individual mistakes. If you remember, Rudiger didn't get close enough to Bowen for one of the goals. One was a fortunate goal, but looking at the Brentford one, again, individual mistakes. Yesterday, we gifted Arsenal that game. We know it was just individual errors by the players, not switched on. Poor quality we haven't got, again, it's recruitment as well, because the players that we've bought in this season have made us weaker, not stronger. So you've got to blame the recruitment people for that. Because when you think Lukaku played, he's not making us any stronger than we were last season.
No, he's creating more problems for us instead.
Exactly. Malang Sarr, another one. He's, that's a drop in quality to what we had. I'd have preferred to have kept someone like Emerson than him. And the only one, I don't know, what's the name was before. Anyway. So I can't think of Saul's not playing. That's, we're paying £200,000 wages for somebody who can't even get into the team when we are struggling for players. I think Tuchel does have to take some of the blame for two reasons. The reason, okay, I know that we are thin on the ground with the squad, but there were other options. I'm not sure what's going on with Trevor Chalobah. The Chalobah for me, two indifferent games, and he's not being seen. And for me, he's a better quality than Christensen. Christensen's head's not in it anyway. And Sarr is. I know Sarr's left-footed, but I'm sure Chalobah could play there as well. And he's a more accomplished player than Sarr, who just doesn't look to be Premier League level to me. He could have played Jorginho in the middle of the park as well, because Jorginho hasn't played that many games of late. I know he played in the FA Cup, but
at least he reads the game.
Yeah, exactly. There's Ziyech. He could have switched to a 4 at the back if we were short on numbers in defence, and played Ziyech, because Ziyech hasn't had that many games. So there are things that he could have done differently, I believe. And also, attacking-wise, tactically, we don't seem to know what we're doing up front. And it's been like that for a few games. It's not just yesterday. Even when, take aside that penalty, which wasn't a penalty.
It wasn't.
When we're chasing the game at 3-2, well, Arsenal got that goal. They sat back. We didn't have a clue. We could have been playing until today, and I wouldn't have seen us scoring, because it was just the same, circulating the ball around, doing nothing, getting it to the wide areas, crossing aimlessly into the box, and getting it clear. So I don't know what the structure is, what the plan is going forward. I'm not sure if it's a personnel issue, how they're being instructed, I don't know. But we just don't seem to have an idea of how to break down these low block teams. And that's
always been an issue, yeah.
Seasons. Yeah, so it was an issue under Frank, under Sarri as well. So it probably is a personnel thing rather than maybe the managers. We went back to moving the ball slowly. But as I said before, my frustration is we are capable. We've seen what we're capable of in this season in certain games. If we had even 60% of how we performed against Real Madrid, we're blowing this Arsenal side apart, because that quality, they're not a great side at all, and they didn't have to work hard to get that win. That's the disappointing thing. If Arsenal played really well, blew us off the park, I say, okay, fair play. They were just better than us on the day, but they weren't. We created our own problems, and yeah, that's, to me, it's a mental thing. I don't think the players are mentally weak, but we've seen how they've dealt with all the issues which are going on in the club. So I don't think they're mentally weak. I just think sometimes they're not switched on all the time mentally. Maybe another factor could be that we only had 70% capacity at the ground. Atmosphere was a bit lacking to me yesterday as well. We were being outsung by the Arsenal supporters, and the crowd, I thought, could have done a bit more, especially the season ticket holders, and the fact that we're missing 15,000, 20,000 people there. I think the crowd should have upped it a bit more to make up for that loss in atmosphere. So against West Ham, that's what I want to see them doing a bit more. Trying to support the team a bit more, because West Ham are going, what they're like as supporters as well. It's another London derby. They don't like us, so they're going to be coming, shouting and screaming.
Max,
yeah.
Max, can I ask you something? Yeah. Remember when we were playing? When they allowed fans back in after the COVID thing, and we had 2,000 fans. They more than 25,000 fans.
Yeah, exactly. They were very loud.
And last time, I was there last year when we played West Ham. And I was sitting in the East Stand upper. That's the ticket I could get with all those season ticket holders. They didn't move. They didn't make a sound. All you could hear was West Ham. That's never happened. All the years. Chelsea was like when we were, before. You know, that's never happened in my history. I was getting up, standing up, and not going to me sit down. You know,
Yeah,
I'm really
that's pathetic, really. Yeah, that is pathetic. Yeah.
That's,
Mm.
we have to do something about this.
We do.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this, Max. I think we'll talk about the fan factor in another show. I know Max has a few minutes to go. Max, looking at these two things here, you know, it has to be noted that as Tuchel, yes, he's broken a few records since he's joined Chelsea, but from a negative perspective, this is just developing. In terms of points per home league game under Roman Abramovich era, he has the least. Even Frank Lampard has a better record than him. Frank Lampard has 1.82, and he has 1.76. And also here, we're learning that this is the first time Chelsea have lost 3 home games in a row since 1993. And they've also conceded 4+ goals for 2 consecutive league games for the first time since 1989. Is that a concern for you?
Not really. The reason is you've got to look at the context behind why this is happening. Right? So for me, a couple of things. This is Frank Lampard's team. Yeah? Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel. He's only got a couple of players, and I think if he had a choice, he wouldn't have probably got those 2 players. So we need to back him in the transfer market. Like we backed Frank Lampard in the transfer market and other managers, we need to back him to get his players in. The other reason why it's not a concern to me is you have to look at the number of games that we've played this season. At the end of the season, we'd have played 63 games out of a possible 66.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the business end of the season. Players are feeling fatigued now. We've had a lot of injuries. Players have played with injuries. Some of the players are probably tired because of their poor performances.
Mm-hmm.
But it would only be a concern for me if things are not addressed in the summer window, because it was quite. I'm not sure if you know, but Todd Bowley was again in the crowd. I'm not sure whether he's going to be the winning bidder, but he was in the crowd again yesterday.
Mm.
He would have seen how poorly our second string have played. He would know that.
You're talking about Todd Bowley? That is, if he understands the team that much, or if there's somebody there to explain to him that's the issue.
Yeah, he'd probably be in the air with some of the people involved in the club, and so we know that we need to improve on our second string. So it would only be an issue for me, if we do not strengthen and if we do not get in a proper director of football. So we need a proper director of football. I've been saying that for ages. We need someone who can make the right moves in the transfer market, give us a philosophy in how we want to play football, back the manager, and I think we'll be okay. But if we do nothing in the summer and we go again and expect Thomas Tuchel to work miracles with these players that we've got, then we'll be having a similar conversation this time next season.
Yeah, I think you make a good argument, because that brings to mind, I think, something I've always argued, that the problem with Chelsea is that we have starters and we have backups, and that needs to stop. We have to have all starters so that there will be competition for in every department, so that when player A gets injured, player B will do an equally good job. I appreciate you finding time to join us, Max. I know you are at work, but again, I can't thank you enough. And people in the chat or wherever you're watching from, if you haven't, be sure to go check out Burton Ballerz YouTube channel and also CFC Fahim, 2 great channels. That's why I associate with them. And Max over time has become a brother to me, and I trust him well enough to say, go check out his channel. I'm sure you will like his content. I'm going to go breeze through the chat, but Max, if you want to say anything else, that's fine. I'm here with you. Let me just ask you this quickly, since you're still here. What do you think about Timo Werner? Again, I think I've asked you this before, but I have to ask it again. It's looking like it wasn't just a one-off thing. It's looking like his form is in an upward trajectory, if you prefer. What do you have to say about his performance on the day?
Well, you know what? It's all football especially for a striker, is always about confidence. Okay, when
Mm-hmm.
your confidence isn't if you're not confident, you do things that you overthink things a lot, and that's what he was doing before. He was overthinking, snatching at chances. Sometimes all you need is a goal off the back of your knee or anything, just to get your career kick-started again. He's not only scored, he scored what, in 3 or 4 consecutive games now. So I think that's lifted the burden off him a bit. So I just feel that he's playing. He's not no longer playing within himself. He's trying things that he didn't used to try before. So again, that may be the situation with Lukaku. It could be a confidence thing, injury thing. So sometimes we do write players off a bit too early. So sometimes all they need is that break or something to change in their career, and then they'll start to kickstart it again. So, and the other thing for me with Werner is that Tuchel's finally playing him in his proper position as well. Because when you think he was used to be playing as a wide, more of a sort of left winger, and he hasn't got the technical abilities to play as a left winger. He's moved him further infield, so he's more of a inside forward on that left running in. So there's just those little tweaks I think that can help in his game, because back at Leipzig he used to play off the big man coming on in from the left rather than as a sort of pure winger. So I think giving him that different tactical instruction has helped his game as well.
Yeah, I think you made a great point there. Thank you very much, Max. I'll make sure to provide the complete information to your channel in the description section. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, I'm going to run now. It's quite windy. I'm not sure if the windiness is coming out on the stream, so I'm just going to
But we can still
finish
hear
up my
you.
walk.
We can still hear you. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate
I'll listen
that.
in, but I'll run now. So take care, rest of
All right, thank you, brother.
on the panel and in the chat. Take care.
All right. King, welcome to the panel. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I can't complain. I think this is your first time on the panel here.
Yes. I'm a big Chelsea fan. I've been watching it for a very long time.
Wow, brilliant. Welcome. And please feel at home. Let us know. We'll be switching topic very soon, but I want to get your thoughts. But let me quickly go through the chat and I'll come back to you in a bit.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Lana says Arsenal really take the London derby very seriously, and Tuchel just blames the pitch. Yeah, that's a hilarious excuse, but again, he may be trying to deflect, the blame on the players to himself. Maybe that was the only thing that came to his mind. And again, Mr. Lana, great channel. If you haven't, go check out her channel. Great content, and she's currently in the process of rebranding her channel, and I think it will come out better, even better. We'll talk about that. We'll be switching topics in a bit, and I've highlighted that comment so that we can talk about it the moment we switch. Hans Master said we lost to clowns. I know. Okay, that again, all emotions are still very high. It was a painful loss indeed. If you don't have the wing backs to play for at the back, it's as simple as that. But Thomas Tuchel has shown he's proven to be very, very stubborn in terms of switching how he plays. Let me quickly get the thoughts of King, then we will continue looking at the chat and switch top. Let me handle everything regarding the match that was played yesterday. Tuchel blamed the pitch to protect Christian. I think he did that. I thought as much too. Klopp and Pep are clear of the remainder of the English. Tuchel pulled a Di Matteo stunt last year. Kante carried that team. I don't think that's the case. Protection on Mendy, of course, no one mentions that. Yeah, I think I've talked about the Mendy issue enough that I don't want to talk about it again. Nick here mentioned, Mendy needs competition for his own good. Without competition, he will not get better. Again, I don't want to say that again. That's by the way. Chalobah is fit and been training, so why isn't he playing? I just don't know. For me, Mendy is, please, can we watch the language we use in the chat here? Because the age range for this is, I think, 13 and up. So we should please watch our languages. My wish, from new owner, clean up the board and scout. We'll talk that when the moment we switch topics. So I will make sure I didn't miss it. 20 million from Hamilton. Okay, that's hilarious too. We kind of talk about that in a bit. I don't trust Tuchel to win the league. I think we have other people too who don't trust him, but I don't think the problem is Thomas Tuchel. Yes, I can. Yeah, you can, but we have to be careful because of the age range for this that I set for the stream. Big up to the chat. Bless up, Kachila. Bless up to you too, Bobby Fairview. Nice to see you here. If this is about, okay, this is Christensen. When Christensen made that mistake, Mendy didn't even go out. Yep, he should have. If he was paying attention, he should be out quickly. A real sweeper keeper will be out in no time to do something. He says we need to sign a ball-playing goalkeeper. Mendy is ball-playing, but I think Thomas Tuchel has made them feel like nothing happens even when he underperforms, and that is not good for him. Mendy contributed to that goal with the Christensen back pass. He retreated too quickly, lacks confidence. Again, keep saying it. If it was Kepa Arrizabalaga now, it would be on CNN too, not just Sky Sports. We cannot keep Kepa again, but at least he's there. Let him do the job. So, King, coming back to you, let us know what you think about the game and what do you think happened.
When I saw the lineup, I was not convinced. I was not convinced with Sarr and Christensen. I was not convinced. Seeing Thiago Silva on the bench, and I seen the other defender on the bench. That we could have played Thiago Silva and the other defender instead of Malang Sarr and Christensen. I could have played the other two defenders instead of Malang Sarr and Christensen.
Yeah, I think that's a good argument because again, there were no. You could say we had no leader at the back, that yesterday, because in terms of I don't think Reece James he just to keep it simple, we had no leader at the back. The 4 players at the back, they're not experienced in terms of leading the back line. Thiago Silva, when he's there, you see we defend as a unit. When we retreat, they retreat together. When they go, calculated moves. But that wasn't the case yesterday. Go ahead. You were saying something.
Let me just say something. Thiago Silva is in age. You know that. He's 37 years old. But we can trust him. But the others like Christensen is going to Barcelona. So what's the point of playing him? We could have played Thiago Silva.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I think Thiago Silva would have been a better choice, but why we didn't start him, I just don't know. I think he's rested a bit and he should have started.
If we play like this on Sunday, and we can't defend for our lives, what's the point of going to Old Trafford and winning against Man United then? What's the point?
Yeah, it will never happen. We need to change things to be able to win at Old Trafford. And again, I think if we play like this, West Ham will bully us because they're physical.
I even remember the Brentford game. I was watching that. I was just appalled. I just turned off the TV. I couldn't even watch it anymore.
Yeah.
I see that goals.
Yeah, because if you really love the club, it breaks the heart. So you wouldn't even be able to watch it. Nick, your thoughts on King's inputs?
Yeah,
Nick, are you still? Yeah, your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Look, I agree with his points. What was the question again? Was it
No, he's saying how that he didn't like the lineup. He didn't like it that Malang didn't start, and he didn't like it that Thiago Silva didn't start.
Yeah, me when I saw Sarr's on the team sheet, I thought, oh no. Because I knew he's going to make a mistake. I didn't want to see Sarr or Christensen, really. We should have gone with Aspie at the right back and Reece James right wing back. That works better. And Alonso, he would have played on the left wing back because we haven't got anyone else. But I think that would have worked So,
Yeah, I understand
but
the argument that he
because
trusts
of
them.
you
Yeah, go ahead.
need to rest a bit.
Yeah, I think I understand you saying Thiago Silva needs a rest. I think that's the
Yeah.
truth. He needed to
That's why
rest. And,
Rudiger.
yeah.
That's why he didn't start. That's the main reason. He said it anyway. He said it before the match, Tuchel. You know, he said why Silva wasn't starting and why Rudiger wasn't starting. He said the points. We knew. But whatever, you know, nevertheless, that team he chose, well, you know, it's not a weak team. He was strong enough to beat Arsenal. If the players were on it and they you know, they realised it was a London derby. They should have played better, every single one of them. I'm really disappointed in them because no Chelsea side ever plays like that against a London rival or anyone else in that matter. Very disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing indeed. But I'm gonna quickly let's look at this. Let's switch topics to the sale of the club because there are some you could say funny development. This is it on the screen here. It says exclusive. Sir Lewis Hamilton and Serena Williams have agreed to invest millions of pounds in the takeover bid for Chelsea Football Club, being spearheaded by Sir Martin Broughton. Full detail of the lineup here with the most unexpected financial backers so far. Let me start with King. King, is this a concern for you?
Seeing Lewis Hamilton is an Arsenal fan. Seeing Lewis Hamilton is an Arsenal fan. I was reading this. I was reading this article this morning. So I'll prefer the Tom Bowley consultant to take over.
Wow. And that's not only a rival fan in that group. There are two other people in that group that own shares in other. I think that this is becoming. What is going on here? I'm confused, really. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah. I was sort of surprised to see that. Very surprised, really. Hamilton, you know, as an Arsenal fan, I don't know. And you know, they were all at the game last night. Broughton, I think all three of them were at the game. Bowley for sure was there. You know, we saw pictures of him going into the stadium again. Some people were saying it was because of Bowley. Every time he goes, we lose by 4 goals. we concede 4 goals. That's rubbish. But for me, you know, I think that Todd Bowley is the best for us, and I still think he's the favourite. You know, that's what I've been saying all along. Even if Hamilton and the other one put 20 billion, they're going to pump in, or 20 million. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm looking at it at the screen here. I think it's True Blue that says 20 million from Hamilton and Williams plus 250 million from Terry, etc. goes to the stadium or buying up players. How are they going to handle that if these guys are contributing money to do just to those aspects as mentioned here by True Blue? I'm a bit confused about the structure now, and I'm not sure if we should even trust them if they're not financially radiant. And so I know they're not, all of them are not going to pay out of pocket, but if it comes to getting to more people contributing, because this time you're talking about Chelsea Football Club contributing changes like 20 million, 30 million. I'm really concerned.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned because I think Bowley's going to win end of the day. I just have that feeling. You know, I'm not really concerned like you are.
I am concerned, really.
Why?
King, are you not concerned?
Well, I'm not concerned. I've the Top Bowley consultant instead of this consultant with Lewis Hamilton.
I'm really concerned because it just seems like they're everywhere, that they didn't plan themselves well. And why would they need to add more people to their concern to me if they were ready in the first place? So I think we're beginning to learn quite a lot of stuff that we haven't learned about before. The other time I read something that Todd Boehly himself and his partners were preparing to buy another sports team in the US. So I wouldn't say that it's much of a problem. But then again, it just lets you know, I think there's so much about these guys that we don't know.
Yes, we don't know.
No, we don't. And I'm really concerned. If you're in the chat, let us know if you have any questions regarding the sale of the club. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, because we don't know everything about these people. We're just going on media talk and all this. We don't know till we actually get the owner. Then we're going to find out if they're good or they're not good. Doesn't matter who it is. Me, just personally, I just think it's going to be Boehly. It just that's what I feel, but I could be wrong. But we don't know, and we're just speculating like we have been for how many weeks now. So it's no use getting worried about things we're not sure of. That's why I'm not concerned at all. To us, see the new owner sign that paper, and like I said before, Roman knows best. He ain't going to give the club to anyone. He will, he's going to give the club to the right owner eventually. We just have to trust in Roman. Like we said, we've been saying that this for how long now? It's getting this subject about new owners. It's getting very boring because we're just saying the same things all the time. Really, yeah.
Yeah, it is indeed. And this comment there, I think, says, why are they going on adding more investors? And True Blue says, it's not about the money. It raises the club's profile. In what way? That's one thing I want to understand because I'm confused as to why they are doing that. And plus, Hamilton, a very popular figure who's also an Arsenal fan, that doesn't, help put them on the good side of the fan base. It creates a problem, rather. We know how the fans feel, even though no matter how you try to explain it, that the other person is just part of the group because they will help, revamp Stamford Bridge and all that. Fans still don't like it. So if you could explain how you think it raises the club's profile, it would be nice. If not, still I'm confused as to why they're adding more people to the group. Let me ask you this, King. Do you understand this comment on the screen?
Yeah, I do understand. I do understand that comment.
So, can you help us understand it better?
Well, like on a comment, I prefer like Todd Boehly because he tried buying the club before. He tried buying the club from Robert Abramovich before, right? But he refused. He refused because Robert Ivanovic's visa got cancelled. That's why.
Yeah, he didn't want to sell then. Yeah.
Yes, that's why he didn't want to sell.
Yeah, go ahead.
When the government hit the sanctions on him, then he decided to sell the club. But before he did not.
Yeah, but he was forced to. He was forced to. You could argue he didn't want to sell the club.
Because of the links,
I want to say,
to Russia.
Go ahead.
To Russia. That's
I want to say, I think what I understand from this part of this comment that says it's not about the money, it raises the club profile, maybe because of the popularity of the two individuals. I think, but the other side aspect that I'm concerned, again, which is not wrong, it is business after all. It's just that we've been spoiled so much under Roman Abramovich. It's difficult for the Chelsea fans to actually be ready to face the new reality, which is the new owners will be profit focused. Everything they do, they're going to be checking, okay, if we spend this much money, are we going to get a return on our investment? That they prioritize that. But that's, by the way, I think what I understand, again, is the popularity of the two individuals, Hamilton and Serena Williams, are two big names, I think, They will raise, yeah, indeed, the club's profile. I think I understand the comment now. Go ahead. You wanted to say something, King?
Well, like Robert Abramovich said, you have to like invest in the club and the stadium, not to put money in and bring money out again. You need to put money in the club instead of like Man United, Look at their owners, and look at Arsenal owners. What are they doing?
Yeah, it makes sense. But then again, let me just quickly. No, here's the thing. Where I talked about is I just wanted you to explain it, because everybody in the chat will not understand this comment here. And again, I don't think it's right to put it this way, to say why it's not. Why you're not really sure why it's so hard to understand. No. Maybe you understood it easily, but everybody doesn't understand things that way. So that's why it's important to ask questions so that you explain it. If you don't want to explain it, that's up to you. You don't have to. But if you say like this, again, to some measure, you something like the only thing, I'm not going to put word out of your mind, but some people could read it and see it the wrong way. But I get your point, yeah. And then I need to ask you to explain this so that more people will understand it. But that's, by the way, he says here, Bally has smaller investors too. They all do, but why so late? That's why he raises a question. But that's, by the way, King, anything else you want to say regarding the new ownership, the prospective new owners?
I prefer the top owner instead of the Atlanta owner and the others. But I don't prefer the Atlanta. I prefer the top owners.
Why do you prefer Bally?
Because the sound. Well, what I was reading in one of the articles, they sound okay to me. They will build Stamford Bridge. They'll invest in the club. They'll invest in the club to win more trophies. That's what I would prefer that. I would prefer that instead of like being Arsenal and Manchester United. You know, they're clubs like that because they got American, but they don't invest a lot of money in the club. They invest their money in the different sports in America.
Yeah, that's the truth. It's not the same as football. And this is something else I'm worried about too many decision makers. But I think before you be part of the main decision makers, I don't think 20 million and that much and that will get you to that level of being part of the decision makers. I think that, again, that's me. Ben Allison says, I'm Purdue and Kante and Colwell. Yes, Colwell for Christensen, Matson for Alonso, Broya for Lukaku. You could argue that's a good arrangement there on how you want them replaced. True Blue, you want a bigger stadium. You need to increase potential support base. You also need to attract people for executive boxes. Again, that's a good input there, and I appreciate you saying that nicely. Yes, Nick Blue, and if you're in the chat, if you have any questions for us, please ask, and we will try to address it before we round off. Nick, should we be should we be expecting to hear the news on the preferred bidders?
Yeah, like I said before. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? Just yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. So the question is, when do you think we'll go ahead?
Yeah. Well, I think when the season is finished, when it's finished, we're gonna know. I don't think we're gonna know before the season is over.
You think we're not gonna know anything about the preferred bidder until the season is over? Fraser says in a week.
That's really hopeful.
They're gonna find out until before end of April,
which is in a week's time or so.
It's gonna be in May.
Yes.
Let's hope so. But I don't think so. I think it's gonna take longer. I think it's gonna be end of the season for me. I
No,
know. I wish it's
maybe
next week.
completing the whole process if you say that. But I think even completing the whole process, I think everything will be done, very soon. But at least we need to know who is the
Yeah, but
who
we
the
don't know
new.
yet because
But
we don't know because Roman hasn't decided yet. So it depends how long Roman
the
takes to
government,
decide.
well, the government have to when the rent group decide, the government have to sign off. Have to sign off. You have to sign off.
Yeah, the government
government.
Yeah,
have
but I'm
to.
talking about
Yeah,
what I'm
the
asking
government
is
already.
like
Wait a minute. Wait, let me finish,
Go
Coach.
on.
The government
mm,
already approved these 3 bidders. The government are okay with that, so it's a Premier League, and it's up to Roman who he wants. Now it's up to Roman when he decides, and that I think it's going to be end of the season. That's
How
what I'm
about
saying.
license? The
here's the
license.
point.
The license.
Go ahead, King. You were saying something, and I'll make my point.
How about the license of the government? The government, where's the license of the government? When they
Yeah, they
approve
will
the new
issue a
owners,
license. That's correct. Go ahead.
they need to issue the when they approve it. They're gonna take off the most the most the season tickets and for the fans to come to buy the tickets. But if the license is still there, the people who's gonna buy tickets are able not to buy tickets.
Yeah, I think you make it here. Fraser says Chelsea board and Rain Group will select the preferred bidder at end of the month, which is in a week's time. So that's not far away. So the fact is, the preferred bidder doesn't mean you become the owner. I think Nick is talking about when we're gonna know. Okay, this is the new owner and it's completed. We have a new owner, but preferred bidder doesn't mean that person becomes a new owner automatically.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that's what
I see
Fraser.
what you're asking now.
Yeah, that's what Fraser
All
is
right.
saying. We will
Yeah,
know
yeah.
in a
I
week's
hope she's
time.
right. Yeah, I hope she's right. It's in a week's time because we just want to know. It's getting really frustrated. We want to know. We badly want to know. Yeah, let's hope so. It's next week, but it could go
Hmm.
longer, even to find out who's the favorite bidder. It could still go
Yeah,
longer.
yeah.
I'm just
Uh,
for me, I've given up hoping and doing this and that. I'm just waiting for the new owner to be announced. I don't care
mhm.
who's the favorite bidder or whatever. I've come to a closure now. I'm waiting for the new owner for Roman to tell me this is the new owner I'm going to have for our club.
Mhm.
I don't want to
Yeah.
listen to no one except Roman because I don't trust no one
Okay.
apart from him. That's what I have to say.
Okay. Just Reala says Lewis Hamilton is
Yeah.
loved by British fans. I am not sure how Chelsea fans will feel about it since since he's an Arsenal fan. It's complicated. It's not that simple. I
Yeah.
get what's his name, True Blues
Yeah.
argument that it is to raise the profile of the team and all the filling in like the executive boxes and all that. But then again, you kind of argue
That's all rubbish.
once he invests in the purchase of Chelsea, I think he will start supporting Chelsea. But that's, by the way, I want to ask you this, King. Do you think Chelsea fans will easily recognize, okay, this is the reason why Selena Williams and Hamilton are investing in the club, or do you think they will have an issue because they don't care because he's an Arsenal fan?
I think it's going to impact. I think it's going to impact it's going to impact the fans.
And that they won't care much about the reason for doing it.
Yes, they wouldn't care, but it's if you put a bid already with the group, it doesn't matter. But it depends. It depends who the rank group who they choose. It depends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. Your thoughts? Do you think the Chelsea fans will look beyond the fact that he is, an Arsenal fan, and see reasons why he's being added to the group?
Yeah, for me, I don't think they're going to be our owners anyway, and I don't like the idea having an Arsenal fan coming in like that. I don't care if it's Lewis Hamilton or the Queen of Scotland. I don't want any Arsenal fan there. And it ain't going to happen anyway. Don't believe too much what you read. I keep telling people that, but they don't listen. Yeah.
One of the groups, one of the groups, they have one of the groups. They have a
believe too much.
Okay, 1 second, Nick. I think King is trying to say something. Go ahead, King.
One of the groups, they have a rival fan. They have a rival fan. One of the groups.
Yeah. I think Tottenham fan, but he's there to help build the stadium. I don't.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead,
Nick. That's different. King, that's different because he's like a coach said, he's just to redevelop the stadium. That Tottenham fan. So as long as he keeps to redevelopment and makes that ground bigger, then I don't care. That's different. But when you have an actual fan like Hamilton, that's different. We don't need that. It's a completely different situation, but I don't think they're going to win. I think Todd Bowley's are the winner already. I just had some information from certain people, and they're backing Bowley. So that's why I keep saying Todd Bowley.
I think it might be down to two. The Atlanta owner and Todd Bowley. It may be coming up to them two.
Yeah, I think you never can tell. Again, these guys still have a chance because they're all part of the final phase. But that's, by the way, Bobby Fergie says that Nick Blue is right, that it will take time, but for different reasons than when a Roman decides. The clearances for the new owners from the Premier League and government will take weeks. Here's the thing. I think they've cleared. I think that comes first. Okay, I mean, it doesn't make sense when that comes. It still takes time. But then again, I think hopefully we'll get to know who the preferred bidder is in a week's time, like Fraser suggested. Blue morning to you guys. Blue morning to you too, Obika. I hope you're doing well. And I'm just joining now. I see that EPL will do their checks as well. Coachella, yes, they will. And I think the plan for Ren Group, like we learned the other day, was that they wanted to do the checks first so that it doesn't be a scenario where they say, okay, this is our preferred bidder, and then the Premier League do their checks and say, no, that won't work, then they'd have to start afresh. But that's, by the way, here says it's not going to be done in a week. Remember, Roman Abramovich has to sign the papers. Yep, a week, but at least we get to know that this is the new bidder. But the handover process takes more time, because a lot of documents involved, by the way. Once Rens Group plus CFC found the buyer, they have to fax the document to Roman Abramovich with lawyers. This isn't going to take a week, possibly 2 weeks, or even more. See, Chelsea is in trouble. I wouldn't say Chelsea is in trouble, Buzz. I think we just, let me just call it a blip at this point. It's something that we can handle. It is Champions League, and no, it's not under threat. Believe me, I'm going to say this clearly again. That win against us by Arsenal at Stamford Bridge is something that happens nearly every year because it's just more like a trophy to them. They've won their trophy for the year. I think they will not make it. I don't think they will make it into the top four. Here says this Limitless laughing. Fax, businesses do still use faxes, but there are other, unfortunately, even big businesses still use very, very old ways to sign documents, surprisingly, but there are electronic signature or softwares that can help you just send an email to somebody. They'd be able to sign their real signature with pen and pencil if they have a touch-enabled devices. But I can assure you, Chelsea still use fax because they use that a lot for transfer deals and all that. That's why on Sky Sports you'd even hear them to say they faxed the documents last minute and all that. It says, well, yes, you have to sign the document. That's important. It's like buying a house. Yep, it's no difference. They all know who the bidder is now. They are probably waiting for the right time to announce. I don't think that's the case. I think the moment they know that they're going to announce it, that's because the longer it takes, I think there are a lot of things that has to wait until the new owner is known before those some restrictions in place that Chelsea can wait to be stricken down. But since Roman still owns the club, those restrictions will remain in place. So I don't think they will wait even a second the moment they find out who they are. But yes, truly, they may know who they think will emerge as the preferred bidder. I want to start with you, King. Your final thoughts on the performance from the boys yesterday. Did you see a fight? Did you see anything that made you think this is a London derby? Or do you think they didn't fight like it was a London derby?
No, they did not. They did not fight yesterday when I was watching the match at home. They did not fight. I know we got two. I know we got 2 goals back, but the other when it came back to the second half, we made some changes, which is okay. Which was okay. Bringing on Thiago Silva, but when Arsenal scored, they scored the third goal. So scored the third goal. They just gave up. They just gave up.
Yeah. Yeah, but I did not see the fighting spirit at all. It didn't look as if it was a London derby from a Chelsea perspective.
And then Aspilicueta gives away a penalty, and it goes the crowd congratulates him, saying, keep going. This is the only game we lost, but it goes aggro the crowd, which I did not
It wasn't
like.
a foul. It wasn't. I think it was Saka that was holding him. But then again, yes, the penalty was against us. But I think referees will look at it, and Saka now will have a bad reputation. I think even when he's supposed to have a penalty, he may miss a few because he deceived the referee. But the most surprising aspect to me is that we had people watching the video assistant referee and said nothing about it. Again, but that's by the way. And let me read something here. He says, Romana and getting any money. Yeah, we know that, and that's unfortunate. But he on his own says he wanted it to be, given to charity. Again, 50% of the fee goes to charity. Rest goes to Chelsea FC and Stamford Bridge Development. Thank you for clearing that because I wasn't sure if it was all the proceeds. But that's by the way. Nick, coming to you, your final thoughts on everything we've talked about today so that we can call it a day.
Yeah. Good show again. We had a lot of things to talk about. And, the main talk was we didn't turn up yesterday. That's very disappointing. And I will never forgive that team who played yesterday for not showing no fight at all.
No
against
fight
Arsenal.
At all, that's the truth.
Against Arsenal, it's unthinkable. For me, as a long life Chelsea fan, I remember the teams who played against Arsenal or any other team. They showed fight, spirit. More than anything else, they were fighting. And when we didn't have great players, technical great players, but them players we had always fought for the badge and the shirt, which I don't see now in these players. And it's very disappointing. It's very hard to watch. It's very hard. But I don't blame Tuchel, like I said. I don't blame him. It's not his squad. We can't judge him till next year when he has his squad, and then we can say, what we think of him then. For me, he's done well since he came in. He turned it around, and I love Thomas Tuchel and always will. I just hope they give him the contract so we can, get up there with City and Liverpool because we can be better than them too. Just with the right
budget. On a day, just like I think it was Max from Burton Ballerz that mentioned that we saw what Chelsea can do against Real Madrid away. For some reason, we're not able to replicate that performance at home, and we've been very poor at home. I hope that changes as soon as possible, or else we'll be in serious trouble. Yeah, so, Nick, anything else?
One more point about the fans. Very disappointed to see you. I hope you're there listening, because to see you, we're losing 3-2, and I saw thousands walking out the stadium. That's never been heard of before.
Yeah, that's disgraceful.
What's the point of going or being a season ticket holder if you're not going to support the club because you have money? That's ridiculous. And I'm going to do my best to find a way to have real fans at that stadium if I die doing it. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. With that, we've come to the end of the show, and I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat, from Steve Chelsea to Steve Chelsea again, Joss Viola, Queen of the House, and and then Fraser with a great input, Limitless with a great input also, to everybody else, to Michael Obika, everyone else who was in the chat but has left. I want to say thank you. You provide great value, and also True Blue for his in-depth understanding of the whole situation in the club. I think your input has been great, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And just thinking maybe if you decide to join the panel, that would be good, because you know exactly what you're talking about. And also, first of all, I've said that. And also, Bobby Fairview, always finding time to support the channel. If I miss your name, please, sorry, I'm only a human being. And Nick Hill, Patil, Chelsea haven't been good since TT's divorce. That may well be the case. And again, I want to say, Nick Hill, Patil, if you haven't, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if I missed your name, apologies. I'm only a human being. And again, the Blue Morning Show is a daily show here on Trust the Perspective. It starts 11 a.m. UK. And believe me, try it again. You will like it. And if you haven't, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I hope to see you tomorrow for another Blue Morning Show. With that, I say goodbye and God bless us all. Cheers.